Good afternoon. It's Chris Robinson, Robbins Ag Marketing, with today's post-close grain and livestock comments for Tuesday, the 13th. All right, we're digesting the USDA. Lots of stuff to cover here today. I'm going to lead off with this. There's a lot of people that are obviously upset, angry, furious at the USDA. I've been doing this for 30 years, and every time they speak, they can only do one thing. They can only hurt you. That's number one. Number two, nobody's in control of these prices. That's why we have to hedge. Nobody can predict volatility. That's why we have to hedge. Or is it surprising that we had the amount of volume that we had yesterday? No, because these markets have been commoditized really since 2010, 2009. When the business left the floor, it was turned over to the algos. It was the price you paid for instantaneous fills and instantaneous information. And so the market changed. It changed 15 years ago, guys. I hate to tell you, 16 years ago. People were just catching up to it. And that's why you get these types of moves, these tremendous volume, and open interest only moves 44,000. So as the markets change, the number one thing you can do is use the tools we have to defend your risk. Okay. And if you are a farmer or producer, you're always worried about one thing: prices going lower. And it's easy to have gotten lulled into wanting to do nothing because for 18 months, corn didn't do anything. I get it. I'm here every day. I've been watching this stuff. So was it surprising that we had 4-cent puts that became worth 20 cents? Absolutely. But that was the key. There were 4-cent corn puts that you could have had. And yeah, the flip side would have been if you bought the corn puts and corn rallied, you'd be like, oh, your puts never work. You guys are, brokers just want to sell me puts. But that's you're missing the point. The point there is that the tools exist for you to use. There's no computer program out there. There's no math problem that can promise you that this is where prices are going to go. So that's why you have to hedge. So hopefully, we're going to get more opportunities here in the rest of the year. It's not a complete debacle yet, but I mean, it absolutely positively looks like March corn wants to go down and test 410. That was the summer low. It absolutely positively looks like D's 26 corn wants to go down and test 438, its contract low. For November beans, new crop beans, we're under 1060. We're at 1050. If we take out 1055, that possibly opens up the door to a run back down to the old lows. So rather than fume and kick holes in the wall, I would say, take stock of where we're at right now. And like that old adage, do what you can with what you have, where you are right now, and hope for the best. And if you're not familiar with how puts and options can work, can help you, it's no excuse to not at least teach yourself, right? Teach yourself, learn something. I had some guys call me the other day, and they were surprised because although they were long the grain, they were long futures corn, we had puts on, and then he's like, well, why didn't my value drop? I'm like, because your put option is covering your futures risk. And really, it was like sometimes you have to actually live it to understand it, to have that light bulb go off inside of your head. So it's not complicated, but if you don't understand it, it can be intimidating, right? You could be a brain surgeon and not understand how these options work. Once you've lived it and once you see how they work, then you get it. But if you're new to something, it's like everything else, you're always uncomfortable. Uh, so I'll leave it at that. If you want to learn more about options, give me a call. There's certainly 1,000 things you can teach yourself out there. But I think in this market, given the risk that's there, given the volatilities there, you need to have your risk on paper, period. And the only plus is 10 years ago, you had to go out and buy options that were 30, 40, 60, 100, 300 days. They were expensive as heck. Now, with these shorter dated options, you can have shorter dated protection, which costs a lot less. The only thing you can't promise someone is that, oh, yeah, buy this put for 4 cents and you'll make 25 cents. That's insanity. Okay. A hedge like that only works if you get these big moves like we just had. So I'll leave it at that. That's my 5 second story. Hope you listen to it. March corn down a penny and three quarters today, settled at 4.19 and three quarters. D's corn finished down 5 3/4 cent at 4.45 and three quarters. March beans down 10 1/4 cent. We're testing this little bit of a trend line here at 10.40, 10.38. If that fails, the next downside risk is 10.28. If you want to look at what these risks are and see what I'm talking about, it's stuff that I've learned for 30 years. I've not reinvented the wheel. I do not have a crystal ball. I don't have a magic 8 ball that says, okay, buy, sell. But if you just do a little bit of homework, there are some key levels out there that we watch, which can help you make better decisions. You're not going to make perfect decisions, but at least you can say, okay, what's my risk here? In the wheat, down 3/4 cent at 5.10 1/2. That's Chicago soft red winter. Kansas City wheat down 7 1/4 at 5.19 1/2. I think as corn goes, so will wheat go. If you're growing corn next year, if you're growing wheat right now, you want to make sure that you defend 5.35 or 5.30 or 5.25 out there. If you're growing KC stuff, you want to make sure that you don't let 5.35 get away from you. We're trading 5.45 right now. And what does that mean? Get away from you? Well, you get yourself a hedge on paper. And is there a cost associated with it? Yeah, there's a cost associated with it. There's also a cost associated with doing nothing, which we've seen, right? And the one thing that nobody can promise you is that, oh, yeah, put these on and they'll work. You put them on and hope that you don't need them if you're a farmer or producer. I can't beat that enough. And I've seen a lot of stuff on social media where people are very angry about USDA and everything else. I mean, we could be in a completely different situation 6 months from now if the USDA changes the data or if Mother Nature changes the system. So again, there's no predictive perfection out there, guys. Get your risk on paper. If you flip over to the protein complex today, all higher across the board. Obviously, these markets like cheaper corn. There's no two ways about it. You've got April fats up 290 at 238. Almost, we traded 239 change. We settled almost at 239. So the market's going to push higher, new 10-week high. In the March feeders, we settled on our highs here at 362.30. Once we poked above 360, there were some buy stops there. We traded as low as 356 today. So a $3 range today in feeders, higher $6 on the day. And again, what's the driver there? It has to be this cheap corn. And moving over to the lean hogs, up 50 cents there as well. We didn't make new highs in April. If you go out and look at the deferred, though, boy, take a look at July. July's right up on its tippy top. It's 105. If I'm a producer, again, you want to defend that revenue against what? Against the types of move we just had in corn, where I didn't know. Somebody's like, I didn't see that coming. Nobody predicted that. Nobody ever predicts these big corrections. That's why you need to have the protection on before the move. That's really what it comes down to. And there's the rub, right? Because a broker or anybody, even if you're doing it yourself, if you're buying a tool, which is a put option to defend yourself, you're hoping you don't make money on it. I know it's insane, right? You're spending money that you hope doesn't pay off. So there's the rub. Okay, that's it for the day. 312-638-8868. Call me if you want to have a conversation. Sign up for my letter if you want to take a look at that, robinsonagmarketing.com. If you want to have a private talk, give me a call. We can talk for 5-10 minutes. 312-638-8868. Have a great rest of the day.